On this episode, I talk with my friend James Balsamo. He's an actor, producer, director, effects man, you name it, he does it. He also runs Acid Bath Productions. Enjoy. But I'm happy you're on the podcast with me. We've been friends for a while online, but we never actually chatted before, so this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah. You're definitely one of the busiest men in freaking film that I know. You got so many badass films out there. I don't know how you do it.
Thanks, man.
How's everything out that way with all the shutdowns and all that stuff?
It's interesting. It's interesting. Some things are low key, but then some things are full throttle. It's with the shots going around and herd immunity, people are starting to come out of their holes again. You know what I mean? They're
Mm-hmm.
like the mole people emerging onto the subterranean level.
Yeah, it's the same around here. All the mole people are coming out and doing their mole people thing. So,
Yeah.
um,
Holy moly.
what's that?
Holy moly.
Yes, holy moly indeed. So, what are you working on now? What's your newest film that you're working on?
Well, next week, It Wants Blood comes out. So go to your local Walmart, Best Buy, Barnes& and Noble, Target, Family Video. I don't think is around anymore, but video stores around the world will have It Wants Blood starring Eric Roberts and Amy. You might know her as Lita Dumas
Mm-hmm.
and Ola Ray from the Thriller Music's videos in it, and Steve Railsback from Turkey Shoot and Life Force, Toby
Oh,
Hooper's Life Force, and great other movies like The Stuntman. So that's about two political giants that have their own political giants. They're actual creatures that these two running mates have, and they will battle to the death.
nice. That sounds awesome. Great cast as always. You always like fill the cast up with some badass like people from back in the day, like nowadays, heavy metal dudes. Like you kill it with that.
Thanks, man. I mean, if you like heavy metal cameos, you got to see my first kids sci-fi adventure movie called Alien Danger with Raven Van Slender that I'm making with Bill Victor Arukin and Sefok Ramon, and that has Judas Priest lead singer Rob Halford in it.
That's
I
so
mean, how cool
badass.
is
Yeah, I
that?
can't wait to see that one.
Yeah, and Tommy Chong's in that one. And the Gorn himself that fought William Shatner, Bobby Clark, is in that also.
Nice. That's a hell of a lineup.
Oh, there's too many to name. Brian Bonsall is in there. He played one of the Klingons' sons. You might have heard
Hmm.
of him. His name is Worf.
Oh
Only
man,
the greatest TV Klingon there is.
totally agree.
Yeah. So that's a real fun one, and that's got stop animation in it, and that'll be out this summer. And then in a few months, I already start shooting the sequel. So Alien
Nice.
Danger 1 and 2 will hopefully hit stores soon enough.
Yeah.
And got
Oh, go
some
ahead.
toys coming out. David Arwaski from the Ninja Turtles made the action figures for
Hmm.
Alien Danger, so that'll be fun. You don't have to play with yourself anymore. You can play with these figures.
That's badass. Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably pick one of those figures up. I do
Yeah.
a little bit of collecting with like physical media and stuff like that, but my wife says we have no more room for shit, but we still got room. We still got room.
There's always room for
Yeah.
collections.
I saw some artwork yesterday. I think it's for the film you just mentioned. Some really badass like comic artwork.
Yeah, I mean, the comic book king of monsters, Jeff Zorno, who does the Godzilla comic book for IDW, did the new It Wants Blood cover. And Jeff and I have been working together for over a decade. He's kind of been my poster artist for almost all of my features. So
Cool.
Jeff is amazing. If you haven't seen Jeff Zorno, look up Zorno Must Be Destroyed on Instagram or Twitter. he's incredible, and he really blew this new cover out of the water. So,
I got a funny, well, not a funny story, but I got a story about him. I actually met him at New Jersey Death Fest a few years ago, or actually probably like 10 years ago now. And I got some artwork signed by him that I have hung up in my living room.
oh,
So,
cool, that's
yeah,
rad. Yeah, yes,
he's definitely a character for sure.
he sure is. I was telling my girlfriend this story the other day. Jeff and I were in a casino. We were doing a show. I don't remember where it was. We were doing a signing in Connecticut together or something, and Jeff is a very loud guy, and I'm a very loud guy. And so security came over to us and was like, "Hey, you guys can't fight in here." And we were like, "What? No, no, no. We're like brothers. We're having a conversation." Like I was like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna murder each other."
Damn. It sounds like y'all two get pretty rowdy.
Yeah, we like to party.
Yeah,
We like to party.
that's cool. Yeah, meeting him was cool. Like I said, he was a character. It was he was there, and another pro wrestler was there that does a lot of killer artwork. God damn, I'm trying to think of his name right now. Ton of tats, like badass, like extreme wrestler. Trying to
Mm,
think of his name. Got a mohawk. Any of this ringing a bell with you?
Mohawk. There's
Yeah,
so
there's a
many
guy with a mohawk.
extreme wrestlers. Oh, I think he's missing teeth.
Yes, yes. What is his
Yes,
damn
I know
name?
who you're talking about. His name escapes me, but
Slag, ain't it? Isn't it
yeah, yeah.
Slag?
Yep, that's
I
him.
think. Yeah, I met him too at that Metal Fest, and it was all in this giant ass fucking old like house, and there's like 500 metalheads in there.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was a cool experience.
Yeah, that extreme wrestling, those death matches are really crazy now with the. I mean, I always liked ECW. You know what I mean? I've worked with a lot of ECW wrestlers in my day, but
Hmm.
that modern death match stuff, that is super extreme.
It is. It's beyond the level of what ECW was, I think, you know.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, New Jack was, the craziest ECW wrestler there was, and now I feel like they're all New Jacks. Like everybody in those death matches are all everybody's a New Jack.
Yeah, totally. And they leave some damage behind, like all the blood and scars and all these guys have. It's nuts.
Yeah, no, I know it's crazy.
How hard is it getting like all these people together? Like you got a lot of egos you got to kind of deal with these cast members sometimes. Like, is it you have any issues with that or?
No, you know what? I like to think of myself as a cool cucumber. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty chill guy, so the vibe on my set is usually pretty chill. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So even when I have a lot of stuff to do and a lot of scenes to burn through, I think the way I handle things is pretty cool. And I've been lucky enough not to really have any divas. I mean, I've been making movies for 15 years and I can't think of one, real actor that actually gave me trouble on.
Wow.
So I've been lucky for that.
Yeah, you're definitely lucky with that for real. I also want to make a correction there. It's not slag, it's schlack.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. I was like on the tip of my tongue, I was like, I know what the fuck this is. So I'm like, no. So Schlack, yeah, he's a badass, and I met him there, during that festival and stuff. He would be a cool dude to have in your movie.
Oh
Any of
yeah.
your movies, like that dude's a monster, man.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen him mess some people up and get messed up. He's intense.
Yes, indeed. What got you started like doing movies and like horror in general?
Well, I loved horror since I was a kid. When I was 8, I watched Friday the 13th Part 3 with my dad, and I was like, I want to be that guy behind the mask. You know what I mean? I want to be the guy putting girls on meat hooks in barns. And
Nice.
so I was terrible at sports and I wasn't good at math. And so my mom was like, "You got to do something." And I was like, "Can you want to do acting classes?" And I was like, "So I could be the guy that wears the mask?" And she was like, "No, no, you could do so much more than that." I was like, "Yeah, but I want to be the guy that wears the mask and kills those pretty girls. That's kind of what I want to do." And she was like, "All right, well, let's take you to acting school and see what happens." And so I had always wanted to be in horror movies, but I didn't know anybody that made horror movies. So I acted all the way up until college. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to make my own movie after I started interning at Troma. and that was it. I started working for Troma and taking out Lloyd Kaufman's garbage and Michael Herr's trash out of their office for free. And I did that for almost a year. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to film school, know how to make a movie, and that was it. And then my first film, I finished it 7 years after I had started it, and it
Mm-hmm.
got picked up for worldwide distribution all over the U.S. and Canada. It was called Hack Job. It had Guar in it, the late
Mm-hmm.
Dave Rocky, aka Odorous Urungus, and I've been making feature films ever since.
Wow. How was it working with Lloyd?
Great. I mean, I'm still friends with Lloyd. It's cool. He was wearing the Hack Job T-shirt on the Nukem High Redux DVD behind the feature, so that was cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's way
So,
cool.
like, Lloyd and I were still friendly. You know what I mean? I don't talk to him on the phone every day, but when I see him around, because I mean, before COVID, I was doing a lot of conventions, and Lloyd does a lot of conventions, so we would see each other. So it's cool. It's cool to see him see me as a peer and not the guy taking out his trash as an intern for free. So
Right.
that's nice.
Yeah, you've definitely made your mark. Like I've reviewed a bunch of your films. Shit, I've had my band do some music in some of your movies and stuff, man. You kill it, you know? Like you nail what you're going for there. Like the comedy horror, you fucking nail it.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that, and I love your band and your music. So thanks for being a part of it.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's always something I would throw at people like, "Hey, guess what? My band was in this movie here. Check this shit out." And I always like, throw it your way. So it's like double promotion, you know.
Yeah, I totally get it, and I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
But
And
yeah,
now,
I love what I do, and it's cool knowing Lloyd and so many great other characters. Like I said, I was a kid and I was into horror, so I used to go to the circus, and after doing the convention circuit for 7 years, being credited as a celebrity guest next to the people that I used to like run up and get autographs from. It's pretty cool, especially like seeing Tom Savini. That's always a trip.
how was he in real life?
He's great. He did a cameo in my film Cool as Hell in 2013, and I think he's a great guy. I really looked up to a lot of his stuff. I do a lot of effects, and that's because I love Tom Savini's work. So it's cool to know him as a person, and to have him be in one of my films. I think is pretty cool too. So
Yeah, it's definitely an honor. I mean, he's the king of practical effects. I mean, without him, we wouldn't have shit that we have today.
that's true. He really pioneered a lot of cool gags. You know what I mean? So.
hmm He doesn't seem to age either. That's the thing I noticed about him. Like he's still in fucking great shape.
He works out. He's got a great work ethic. He's always doing something. So
Yeah, hopefully we can all aspire to be like that when we get up to his age, you know.
that's true. I mean, his whole career, he's been, doing great things.
I think my favorite thing I've seen him in was Dust Till Dawn, man. I love him as Sex Machine.
Oh yeah, yeah. That movie is always a great watch. In fact, I just watched it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it never gets old. Like it's so
Never
fucking
gets
good,
old.
man.
I
You always
know.
find something new about it too when you're watching. Like, oh, I didn't see that last time I seen it. If I've seen this 1,000 times, I didn't pick up on that, you know.
It's true. Yeah, the effects are great. The acting's great. I mean, the cast is great.
Yeah, I
It's
would almost say it's a perfect film. Like, and that's a
no, I
hard
would
thing to
agree.
say.
It is definitely a perfect film.
Like, I rarely give movies tens. Like, that, you gotta be really like blowing my mind. But I would definitely give that one a 10 in my rating chart there.
Yeah, I mean the pacing is incredible in that film too. It's like a nonstop thrill ride the whole way through.
And it's so dark and dirty. Like, you feel nasty watching. Like, you feel like dark and grimy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Especially the scene in the hotel room when they kidnapped the bank teller, the aftermath. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
God damn, yeah.
I
Wa-
know.
Watching that as a kid, I was like, fuck, because I was watching horror movies at a really young age. My parents didn't care about, rated R, none of that shit. So
Mhm.
they would take me to watch all these crazy ass movies, and that was one of them I watched. And I remember it keeping me up for a couple weeks.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great one.
hmm I've like, what movies have you been watching like for the past couple years that have kind of blown you away?
I really like the Shining sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that in the theater before all this madness happened, and it really sparked a cinematic joy in me. I thought it was really fun. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I watch a lot of old movies like exploitation horror from like the 70s to 94, where practical effects were like really a thing. So I'm always finding like weird uh horror gems. Like I just watched one I think last week called Death Run.
Death Run. Uh-huh.
Did you ever hear that one?
I've heard of it, but I'm not sure if I've seen it. I'm
Oh,
looking at my IMDb right now.
it's a great watch. It's like a post-apocalyptic mutant crazy fest. You know what I mean? It's just
Uh-huh.
one thing goes wrong after the other. I don't want to spoil it because you should definitely watch it. But it's got mutants in it and gore and nudity and it's like futuristic. It's really fun. I like stuff like that fun. So even if they don't nail all of the execution with the locations or the actors or the dialogue, I
Hmm.
think if the concept is there, there's a movie there. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm gonna put that on my list because that's hitting all my key things. I love old like
I'm
80s
telling
films or
you.
even 70s like sci-fi horror. I love that shit.
I'm telling you, check that one out, Death Run. It's really funny. My buddy Billy Coyne recommended it to me. He's an effects artist. He did makeup on me in the movie Groundhog. That's a fun slasher film I acted in.
Hmm.
But but Billy was like, "This movie is perfect," and I watched it, and it is. It's great. It's really fun for exploitation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like low budget. It's great. It's great.
Cool. Anything else that's kind of caught your eye?
Um, You know what? I've kind of been super busy. I try to watch things here and there. I tried to make it through Mortal Kombat last night because
Hmm.
it just came out, and I love the games, and I'm not a big fan of CGI.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, sitting through something like that is always kind of hard. That's why I rather watch something cheesy from the 80s with like latex and you see the pump, you know what I mean? And the
Right.
tubing. Like for me, that's a more enjoyable watch because I could laugh at it and I could see, the foot of the guy pressing the blood pump still in frame.
Right.
Like all that stuff is more fun than watching like a polished CGI scorpion blow fire. So
Yeah. Actually, I watched that this morning. I was trying to. My wife wanted to watch it with me, but we didn't watch it last night. I'm like, man, I can't hold off this long, so I watched it this morning. So she
yeah.
don't know, but so we're still gonna watch it again. But and I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. Like I love fucking Mortal Kombat since I was a kid. Like, and I love the first like original movie. That's still one of my favorites. And
Yeah.
I like this one too. Like I would give it like an 8
Uh-huh.
out of 10 or whatever. But yeah, the CGI is pretty excessive, but it's kind of well done for what it is. I still
Oh
prefer
yeah.
practical, and I
No,
prefer
they're great.
practical Goro.
That
But
Goro scene is great. I mean, but I prefer the original animatronic Goro, which
yeah,
still looks great today
hmm,
from that original. You know what I mean? It's basically like a hat on top of that other actor with the second pair of arms and the head. But I still think that animatronic is cooler than CGI. Just for me, that's my own personal taste. You know what I mean?
right. No, I'm
So
right with you on that. Practical is always king, like for me too. So
yeah, but I mean, I could still enjoy CGI to a point. You know what I mean? I still watched Mortal Kombat and I thought it was entertaining. So
yeah, it's been getting a lot of hate, like mixed reviews and mostly hate. I was like, and there's like, oh, well, the acting was bad. I'm like, dude, it's Mortal Kombat. Have you ever played the games or watched it? It's
I
not
know,
about the acting. Like,
I know.
yeah, it's about the special effects and fucking fatalities and shit. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's about ripping somebody's spinal cord out while their skull is still attached. And
Yes. And it did pay some good homage to some of the like old school fatalities. It had Jax's like head crushing one. I think Kano had his heart ripping one. I was like, that's fucking cool.
yep, Kano had the heart ripping one.
Yeah. And it
Yep,
was a lot better than Annihilation.
yeah,
Did you ever see Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. I revisited that one a couple weeks ago just for shits. I'm like, oh, I liked this as a kid, and I
Yeah,
watched. It, I'm like, fuck, man. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, didn't hold
It's
up very well.
it's not a flawless victory.
No, not at all. I'm like, shit. How the hell did I like this as a kid? I even went to the theaters to see it and shit. I'm like, man, this one's horrible.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what's for me. I try not to do that, especially if I really liked a movie. I try not to revisit it and just go back because so many things look different, especially as you like learn about cinema and editing. It's like it's really hard to watch a movie you liked as a kid and then have that same feeling. Sometimes it works, you know what I mean? Like you
Hmm.
said, Dusk Till Dawn, it's great. Always, it's always great. But some movies I've revisited and I'm like, oh my God, they're breaking the 180 axis and that's a jump cut looks terrible. Well, oh no, like who cut
Yeah.
this together? You know what I mean? So
And sometimes when they do like the HD versions from VHS quality, like they lose some of the magic. I kind of like the VHS version because it holds some of the magic in. Like you can't see all the like strings attached to this or that. You know what I mean?
my go-to for that is the Ghoulies HD version.
Uh-huh.
Ever exported it, didn't check what it looked like because you see all of the puppeteers' forearms when they're in the basement.
Oh wow. Damn.
And so Ted Nicolau, he's the original editor on that film, and I was interviewing him for a film of mine, Mind Melters, and I had asked him off camera, you know what I mean? Did you
Uh-huh.
see this cut? And he had no idea, you know what I mean?
Oh
So
God.
I don't know. They must have just hired a company to do it for cable or something like that. I mean, it happens. You know what I
Right.
mean? You're trying to rush something out, and they basically just put a filter on it. You know what I mean? That bumps it up to HD. There's like a processing kind of thing. But whoever did it was like either like, well, if we just color grade this one scene, it's not going to look the same, so we'll just leave it in the movie. And I think sometimes restoring it to HD destroys an old classic film like that.
I totally agree with that. I still have a VHS player and I still have VHS tapes.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, and you can't get a lot of these newer movies on these classic movies on DVD or Blu-ray. You got to get them on VHS. So
Hmm.
I mean, I still have VHS. You know, you could get some of my films at acidbathproductions.com on VHS.
Nice. Whoever's listening to this, you need to do that.
Yeah, check it
Highly
out.
recommend. There's a company out now that does a lot of cool like new movies on VHS. They're called Witter Entertainment, Witteer Entertainment,
Yeah,
and
I know.
they also go by Broke Horror Fan. You ever heard of them?
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah, they do some killer shit. Like they take a lot of my money. God, I was
Yeah.
fighting for what the new Nicolas Cage movie. Was it Willy's Wonderland or Wally's Wonderland?
Oh yeah, did you see that?
You know what? I have not seen it yet. I've been trying to wait till the VHS gets here before I can watch
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm
I
like, I
mean,
want this shit. It's fucking Nick Cage. I'm a big fan of his, so I want it.
yeah, my stepdaughter really likes it. We watched that together, all three of us. It was fun. It was a
Did you
fun.
like
I liked it. Yeah, we love Nicolas Cage. You know, my
it? Yeah.
girlfriend calls him Nicky Cage. Ooh, we're gonna watch a Nicky Cage movie. So
It's good to see it, like see him back in films again, like he is. Like he's made a hell of a comeback.
he has, yeah, he's been working a lot lately. He does some fun stuff.
And my favorite thing from him, like all time favorite, is Mandy.
Oh yeah, that's really fun. So can we have a spoiler alert conversation?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So if you haven't seen Mandy, this is a spoiler alert. Okay.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Uh, so do you think that whole movie is a fantasy from that last shot where you see the painting?
Oh, wow. I've never thought of that.
Yeah, that's the
Hmm.
question I like to ask people that have seen Mandy.
Uh-huh.
That is it all fantasy?
Wow, that's a good one to think about. When I rewatch that again, I'm gonna keep that in mind because that's one of my favorite films. I've watched it like 10 times. I've never actually thought about that. That's pretty cool you threw that out there.
Yeah.
It could totally be. I mean, the way it's all dreamy any fucking ways. I mean, it could
Yeah,
definitely totally be
just that
that.
last shot, that's kind of how that played to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'd love to pick Panos' brain about that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, well, if you ever ask, interview him, there you go.
Mm-hmm. He's kind of reclusive from what I hear, and I've looked into ways of trying to get in contact with him, and it's not easy. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying it won't happen, but it's not gonna be easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that Mandy, man, that one hit me hard. I have so much this like respect for that film and everything else. Like, is this it hit me hard at a hard time in life too. So
hmm Yeah,
yeah.
it's a good one. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
I
fun.
Yep. And I own that on like 3 or 4 different VHS versions that I went on eBay to find, and I got one from Witter Entertainment. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm a little crazy over there. And I got a signed script from I think Panos signed it, I believe. So I got that sitting around somewhere.
Cool.
Yeah. And been trying to find a film to kind of top that since Mandy's came out, and it's been really
Mhm.
hard. Like, that's a hard one to beat.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of left in this void right now where like, oh, this is cool and everything, but it's not Mandy good.
Right.
That kind of sucks, man. Like,
Have you
been
seen
watching.
Caligula?
Oh, Caligula, yeah, the old movie, right?
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not my thing.
Right.
But it's definitely it's shocking. That's for sure.
It's definitely shocking.
Oh man, there's one I got that tops Caligula. I'm trying to think of the name. I think it's called The Devil's Honey, I believe. I
Oh
gotta
yeah, the
look
biker
it up.
movie?
No, this is a Spanish film, if I'm thinking of the right one here. I think it's called The Devil's Honey. Let me I'm looking it up as we speak. It was on Shudder when Shudder first came out.
Oh, is that Fulci?
No, it's not, no, I can't remember the director. It's nobody like, that you would really, put a name to a movie or whatever. And I don't
Oh,
think it's called
yeah.
Devil's Honey, so I might be wrong on that. But
Yeah, it's Fulci.
is it?
Yeah, no, I've seen this.
Okay. Yeah, I think that one was pretty
Nice when
shocking
the
when I
internet's
saw.
got your back. It's like,
What?
no, no,
Yeah.
you're right. It's Fulci.
Yeah, you can get anything on the internet and find out what you need.
Yeah, no,
That's the beauty of it.
I love Fulci, so
That's
I
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, I got that one.
Yeah, I haven't watched anything too shocking in the past few years. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. I did watch a movie called Atroz. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's
What's that?
also known as Atrocious, I believe. The
Uh-huh.
Spanish thing is Atroz, and you can watch that on. There's a Rue Morgue app they got. It's called like After the Midnight Club, I believe.
Uh-huh.
They have it on there, and I think it's on Tubi now for free.
Mm.
But dude, yeah, people's like, oh, Serbian film's shocking, oh, blah blah. I'm like, yeah, you haven't seen Atroz, dude. Like, yeah, you ain't seen shit.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on Guar, so the whole baby interaction thing. I'm like,
Yeah, and
what else?
I never liked the Serbian film thing. That's not my thing. You know what I mean? I watch it just to see what all the fucking talk was about. I'm like, all right, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
With this film here, I'm talking about Atroz, man. Like the violence is so realistic and shit. It's pretty hard to watch, even for me. And I've seen some fucked up shit. Like
Right.
the directors of this film, they got questioned about if this was a real snuff film or like, what is this shit we're watching here? And they had to like go to court for all this stuff. So
Oh yeah, it's like Cannibal Holocaust. Same thing happened to Dan Danto.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're kind of in the same water with that. Who are
2000.
some of who's some of your favorite like people you work with over your career?
You know what? I've worked with so many. Working with Guar was a
Hmm.
big deal for me, and I still am. Hunter Jackson, original founding member, aka Techno Destructo, has been making creatures for Alien Danger 2, and he's made the body to one of the creatures in It Wants Blood. So, it's pretty cool to have Guar working for me.
Yeah, no shit, that's awesome.
Yeah. Hunter's a really cool guy, and he's such a talented artist also. So, I mean, the list is ever growing. I mean, in the last 6 months, I made a werewolf movie with Andy Dick.
Yep, let's see part of that.
I got Tommy Chong and Rob Halford from Judas Priest, and then, Tony Todd was really cool. Candy
Hmm.
himself, and like I said, Tom Savini, Tom Sizemore was really cool. The list just goes on and on and on. I mean, Carmen Capobianco from Psychos and Love, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Becoming a good friend of mine. Sadly, he passed away a few months ago. So I
Uh,
dedicated It Wants Blood to Carmen. So
that's cool. It sucks he died or whatever, but that's cool you dedicated it, so
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's life. What are you gonna do?
yep.
I cried, but the living must go on living, right? So
Exactly.
exactly.
I remember I can't remember the name of the film off the top of my head now, but you had Herschel Gordon Lewis in there.
I did. He's in my film Bite School, and
That's
again,
right.
that was sad when Herschel died. But I tried to get Herschel in a movie for 6 years. It took me 6 years to get Herschel to say yes. And we
Hmm.
were doing a show in Florida together, and I couldn't believe that he was sitting at a table with Patty Mullen. They didn't even give him a full table. They
Oh.
had split the table with Herschel and Frankenhooker herself.
Hmm.
Speaking of Frankenhooker, I just got James Lorenz uh,
Nice.
in my other film, 14 Ghosts. But anyway, to go back to Herschel, he was so sweet. All he had asked me for was a chocolate milk after we had finished filming.
Oh
And I brought
man.
him the chocolate milk, and he said, "You are such a sweet man."
Wow.
Yeah,
That's fucking amazing there, man.
I know.
Was he so I guess he was pleasant to work with then. It sounds like he was really sweet.
He was so sweet, and I mean, Herschel was up there when I had started filming with him, so we had done a panel together the night before. It was me and several other filmmakers and Herschel Gordon Lewis talking about exploitation films, and I got Herschel to sing, one of the theme songs from one of his films,
Hmm.
uh, and so he was like, "Oh, I like this guy." You know what I mean? So he was all about it. And then when we went to film, we had to go from downstairs to upstairs, and he was like, "Oh boy, this is far." You know what I mean? Because he was an old man at the time we were filming, and I was like, "Oh no, it's." And so once I had him in the room, I kind
Uh-huh.
of milked it for everything that it was worth because he was game for it. So he actually became a framing device for the whole film, Bite School.
Wow. Yeah. And I remember seeing Bite School now too. Now we have the name to the movie because shit, I think our song was in Bite School, if I'm not mistaken. We had a song
Yeah.
in there, which I was
Yeah.
like, fucking that's cool as hell. So I really enjoyed that one.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm working on the sequel now. It's called Bite School 2 From Dusk Till Bong.
Nice. I'll be
Yeah.
looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. I took on so many projects because I'm not touring, you know what I mean? So some things got moved around. So hopefully we'll start shooting that in October.
Hmm. What's your favorite part of doing everything with film? Like, is it the makeup stuff, the producing, the writing? Like, what's your favorite thing when it comes to making
I
your
think
movies?
I think it's the actual filming, being on set. You know what I mean? I love producing and making the phone calls and bringing it all together and getting the celebrity to come in and everybody's excited. And but I think it's really that moment of capturing that moment that everyone else is going to watch, you know what I mean, but being there, seeing it live. It's kind of like
Right.
filming a band that is going to be televised and experiencing that moment in person.
Hmm.
You know how people say, "Oh man, I wish I was on set." It's like I'm always on set. I have to be there.
Yeah, there's no break for you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with what's happening now, I've had a lot of self-tape cameos. You know what I mean? So it's
Uh-huh.
it's created kind of a convenient thing. We don't have to bring them there. There's no green room. You know what I mean? But I miss the in-person thing. I'm an in-person kind of guy. That's why I liked touring, meeting
Right.
other people that are like, "Oh, I've seen Bite School and I love it," and they want to take a selfie like that. That part's great, but since that part's kind of been on hold, I've kind of just been making as many movies as I can before the world opens back up.
Yeah, and you got a ton of them ready to go, that's for sure.
That is for sure. This summer, I'm gonna definitely have a few releases, like Killer Waves 2, that's got Marky Ramone from the Ramones in it, and
Hmm.
a ton of other fun celebrities in it. And that is a sequel surf slasher film to my 2016 film Killer Waves.
Which is awesome, and also have us. We have a song in that movie as well, so another
Yeah,
self promo there.
yeah, totally, man.
um, what was I going to say? You also have some books out, correct?
I do. I wrote two bad joke books. You can get them at Barnes and Noble: Total Punishment and Puns of Peril.
And those are cool, especially being in books in Barnes and Noble. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm a acclaimed novelist. What they're claiming, I don't know, but
Is it easy for like getting distribution in all these different places? Because you're in like Walmart too, I believe, aren't you?
I am. I'm in Walmart, Best Buy, like I said, Barnes and Noble, Target.
Everywhere, pretty much.
Pretty more or less. Yeah, more
Hmm.
or less everywhere. So, it's cool. I'm like above ground, underground. You know what I mean? So it's like
Hmm.
I'm like cult mainstream.
That's a good term, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it pretty much just you doing the whole operation, like when it comes to distribution, promotion, all that stuff? Do you have like a team with you, or how's that work?
Yeah, so I go through a company called Allied Vaughn. They distribute some films for companies like Fox and the Hallmark Channel and Lifetime and Sony,
Hmm.
Universal. So I get like the sheet that goes out to all the companies, and they just put out Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke, I believe, on Blu-ray. So I'm in good company.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, definitely sounds like you're in great company with Cheech and Chong there. So
Yeah,
I used
yeah,
to watch those movies with my dad back when I was a kid. So.
yeah, yeah. Especially now that Tommy Chong's in one of my films. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm. How was working with Tommy Chong? How was
oh
he?
my God, it was incredible,
Yeah.
incredible. We filmed at his mansion in his backyard. You know what I mean? It was
Uh-huh.
pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Is he like he is like on camera, off camera? Is he the same way?
Same.
Yeah.
Talks the same. It's all the same. Same thing like when I met Jeff Goldblum. It's like there's no character there. That is them. You know what I mean?
That's good to know. Yeah.
Super chill, funny. You know what I mean?
Have you had Jeff Goldblum in any of your films or?
I haven't, but you know what was funny? I was flying out somewhere and Jeff was flying in and he was not swarmed at all. Like LA is kind of funny, right? Because there's so many celebrities everywhere.
Hmm.
Like people in LA are like too cool to talk to celebrities. They're
Right.
like, oh, I don't want to make it look like I want to talk to a celebrity, but I'm from New York, so I don't care about that. So I
Yeah.
was waiting by myself for a flight, and Jeff Goldblum walks off of this plane, and people are like, "Oh my God, you're Jeff Goldblum!" And so, of course, I went up to him and I asked him for a selfie, and then I don't really like small talk, you know what I mean, unless I have like a burning question or something. So he
Uh-huh.
was kind of like he was waiting to engage in small talk, but I just kind of wanted the selfie and it was like, hey, you're Jeff Goldblum. I like your work. Like, let's get a picture together. And
Uh-huh.
so he was kind of waiting for me to ask him some kind of like, what was it like to have that fly makeup on or kiss Gina Davis in so many different films? But
Hmm.
no, I just was like, thanks for the selfie. Bye.
See you, Jeff Goldblum. That's a killer story though, just to meet him. I've been a fan of his for a long time, and he seems like a really cool dude.
He was so cool. He's a tall guy.
Yeah, he's like
I'm not
six
a
five, I
short
believe.
man. but he is a tall man.
Yeah.
He is very tall, and it was cool because, like I said, nobody. I was like, "That's Jeff Goldblum. What? Why isn't this entire airport freaking out?" But I guess they were too cool, but I was not. I was like, "I want a selfie with you," and he was more than happy to oblige.
Wow. That's a hell of a story, man. I like to meet Jeff Goldblum one day.
Yeah,
What are
yeah.
some of your most like crazy celebrity stories? You have any of those? I know you probably do.
I have a lot of
Yeah.
those.
Just give me a few of them, like your top ones, I guess.
I mean, like I said, as of right now, Hunter Jackson from Guar has been making monsters in my backyard.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
pretty badass.
that is pretty crazy. You know what I mean? I celebrate 420 with Hunter Jackson every day for like the last month.
Wow.
And he just tells me so many great Guar stories and you know um yeah. Oh, okay, I got a good one for you.
Yeah.
So since we were talking about wrestling, right?
Yeah.
I was filming with the late great ECW wrestler Balls Mahoney.
Yep, I know who he is. Yep.
Okay, so Balls Mahoney was doing a cameo in I Spill Your Guts, which was my second feature film. So I
Mm.
was still pretty green, but that was the movie that I was determined to make a fun, great film. And that was kind of the film that turned the internet hate against Hackjob into, oh, I guess James Balsamo is a filmmaker. Because the reality of it was I was 25 when I made Hackjob, and
Uh-huh.
it came out on such a major platform. People were like, "What is this garbage?" You know what I mean? It
Uh-huh.
came out. It didn't come out through Troma. It came out through a major distributor, through Walmart and Best Buy, and then it got pirated, and it was next to Taken.
Oh,
Okay, so I'm just setting the scene for you.
okay.
So here I was, now 26, set out to make a great movie because people said James Balsamo shouldn't pick up a camera, and I didn't realize people would be so forthcoming with their hate, not only towards the movie, but to me personally,
Right.
saying things like James Balsamo should never pick up a camera. So I wanted to make a movie for fun when I had made Hack Job. But then I was like, oh, I should show the world I understand cinematography and I'm doing all of this by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was doing when I filmed Ice Spill Your Guts. So I wanted to get people that I really liked and worked with. So I had a photo of Balls Mahoney and I when I was 13. I had
Wow.
went to a wrestling show, an indie wrestling show, as a birthday party for when I was 13,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a piece of a broken table for years from a table that Balls Mahoney went through.
Uh-huh.
So I when I was filming with him, I showed him the picture, and he was like, "Oh, that's great," but he had a broken arm. Okay,
Mm.
he had done a wrestling match the night before, and a piece of his bone was literally almost sticking out of the skin of his forearm.
Damn.
You could see the bone protruding.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. So
Wow.
so after we filmed this cameo, he hits the executive producer at the time, Danny Danger, and our resident stuntman in the head with a real steel chair,
Oh,
which he had headaches for like 8 months after that. Like,
holy
you know,
shit.
Dan was like a backyard wrestler and he used to, go through flaming tables. So he was like, yeah, do it, He
Mm-hmm.
was kind of a masochist slash sadist. He liked it. And
All right.
so Balls Mahoney, the king of chair shots, was like, okay, I'm gonna hit you with this real chair. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. The chair was bent in half.
Mm.
Okay, but
Uh,
but that's not the best part of the story. After we film, there's like a wrestling mat in the back of this warehouse where they have a wrestling ring that we were filming in, and
mm-hmm.
somebody on the crew was like, "Hey James, I heard you wrestled in high school and you pinned a guy in 13 seconds. I want to wrestle you." And I was like, I don't. Okay, let's go. And so, you know, I hip tossed this guy within a matter of seconds
Mm-hmm.
and pin him. And Balls Mahoney is standing there, and he's like, "Okay, now I want to wrestle you."
Oh shit.
I'm like, "No, come on." And he's like, "I'm like, you have a broken arm. I'm not. I could see the bone about to stick out. I'm not gonna wrestle you, Balls Mahoney, ECW legend." And he's like, "James, this isn't an option. We're wrestling, and don't go light on me because my arm is broken." Oh, I'm like, okay. So we start wrestling, and I pin Balls Mahoney.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy was strong, you know what I mean?
Right.
And to his credit, he had a broken arm. But out of respect for Balls Mahoney, I didn't go soft on him because he had asked me not to. So
Uh-huh.
I pinned him pretty quickly, and then he's like, okay, again. I'm like, what? No. He's like, no, we're wrestling again.
Holy shit.
Well, he's got this broken arm, okay, which now I'm like, okay. So we wrestle again, and then I hip toss Balls Mahoney,
Mm-hmm.
and I pin him again for a
Oh,
second time, and he's like, all right, you win. Next time, though, we're having a rematch,
mm,
and that's my Balls Mahoney story.
damn. Yeah, that's crazy. You got to pin Balls Mahoney.
Twice.
Twice, yeah. He was a big dude, right?
He was a big dude. What when we filmed with him though, he had lost a lot of weight. You could tell he was something wasn't right. He was
Uh-huh.
get he wasn't getting as healthy as he should have been, and he had lost a lot of weight. So
Uh, yeah, that dude was super extreme, when I would watch his matches and what ECW and stuff.
oh yeah, what a great theme song too.
Yeah. And I've been hit with a chair before, a steel chair, and that shit hurts.
Yeah, it does. It does.
We used to do chair shots when I was a kid. We'd be wrestling in the front yard, me and my best friend at the time and stuff. And he was more extreme than I was because he was actually going to go try going to wrestling school, which I think he did for a little while. But anyways, he would say, "Hey man, get that metal chair there, hit me on the head as hard as you can." I'm like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." So, and we would wait for like somebody to drive by. That way they can see it. So if it was in the front yard, so I'd slam the fucking chair in his head. He'd be bleeding and stuff, and fucking, and he hit me in the head, but not hard. And I was like, "All right, I'm good. One hit's good enough for me."
Right. Yeah. No, it's that's why they say don't try it at home. But I mean, how are you gonna not? It looks so fun.
Yeah, I grew up wrestling with my cousins and stuff, man. Like breaking couches, throwing them through tables and all. And, like not like real tables, just to like I guess tables you have in a living room, like that your parents cuss you out for, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Been there.
Oh yeah, be fucking wrestling and the whole couch just gives out. Oh, time to get a new couch.
Yeah. I broke my leg training for a backyard wrestling match. I did a leg drop through a table made out of garbage cans and a surfboard, and I broke my leg.
Shit.
Yeah.
How long did you train for doing that?
Well, I did backyard wrestling for a few years, and
Mm-hmm.
then I was driving home one day with my mom when I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and we go to a garage sale to like a neighbor that's like 2 blocks away, and they're selling ECW toys. And the woman goes, "Oh, do you know who that is?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's the Amish Roadkill." And she's like, "That's my son." And then I look up, and he turns around and walks out of the backyard. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh my God, the Amish Roadkill." And so he tells me about a wrestling school in Queens, and then
hmm
I started to train wrestling.
Wow.
And so they actually filmed me for a Transylvania aired wrestling commercial.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that was because of the Amish roadkill.
hmm Damn, you're a jack of all trades. I never knew you did the wrestling thing. That's
Oh
new.
man, I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I was I wrestled and a lifeguard. I did magic selling at a mall.
How was that?
Yeah, it was interesting. So
Yeah.
I was a salesman for a magic trick called float. Now here's
Huh.
a spoiler alert for the trick float. Um, you could float any object in front of your face that's lighter than a pen.
Mm-hmm.
So like a coin or a piece of lint out of your pocket, and it looks like the thing is floating in front of you. You know, you move your hands in front of it,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's a package, right? It was like a DVD that comes with the trick, but it was like once you buy the trick, there's no refunds. You know what I mean? Once you know what it is, you can't get a refund.
Right.
So basically, you're paying $40 for a DVD and a piece of string with a little piece of wax, and then the wax goes on the string, and then you run the string over your head attached to your thumb, and then you
Mm-hmm.
put the object on the other piece of the string with the wax, and then
Ah.
you pull your hand up and down. It really looks like it's floating in front of your face,
Uh-huh.
but people would come back every day. I bought this crap yesterday. Give me a refund. And it's like, no, you fell for the trick. It's a trick. It does exactly what you saw it do.
Yeah.
Piece of string, and you paid for it. So enjoy.
How much you're selling that for?
$40.
Holy shit.
I mean, I just worked for the kiosk, the company.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't invent it, but it was a great gag.
Yeah, no shit.
You know what I mean? And they made a killing. So,
And that trick is still used today, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen that shit. And
oh, it still is, and it still looks great.
mm-hmm.
I know when I saw it for the first time, my brain was like, I wonder what it is. Is it magnets? You know what I mean? Maybe
Uh-huh.
it's some kind of special thing from the government. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's an effing piece of string.
So string and wax, that's it.
That is it. But it looks great.
Uh-huh.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I might put it in Alien Danger too, because it is magical.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. As long as David Blaine doesn't come after you for revealing that trick there.
That's true.
I mean, might be one of his.
I know.
Are you a fan of David Blaine's magic?
I am. I like magic. You know what I mean? I like illusions and Lord of Illusions.
Oh, great movie, yes.
Yeah, I like I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
I like fun. You know what I mean? I like fun and entertainment. That's what I enjoy.
It's a good thing to like fun things. I mean, we live in a depressing world sometimes, and you need some fun shit to get your mind off
Right.
of things.
Oh yeah, exactly. But you know what? The counter to that is there is so much joy and so many fun things, and that's why I like to make fun movies.
Hmm. You definitely achieved that. Like,
Well,
I've never
thanks.
watched a film you've done that like I felt depressed about, or like, oh, it was so mean or whatever. It's just like, you feel good after you get done watching them.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
There's some films that make me feel like shit for months and months. Like one of those films being Gummo. Have you ever seen Gummo?
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it happens. You
Yeah.
know, it's a great one, Holy Mountain. Have you seen that?
Holy Mountain. It sounds familiar. I'm not too sure. When did it
Oh
come
my
out?
goodness. Watch that today. That will blow your mind.
Holy Mountain. Is it an older film or?
It is.
Okay. I'm looking it up as we speak right now. You know if it's streaming anywhere or you have to try to find it?
I don't know if it's streaming, but it's a great film.
Okay. Holy Mountain. I'm gonna add that to my list. Is it one that's gonna make me feel like shit for months to come?
No, and I think it'll do the opposite because it's wonderful. The cinematography, it's a must see. If you
Okay.
haven't seen it, Holy Mountain is a must.
Excellent. I'll put that on my list because I'm always looking for new things to watch.
Oh yeah. No, that should be on the top. I'll tell you that right now. Alejandro Jodorowsky, he did a whole bunch of stuff. So
Yeah, I definitely know the name there. I have to check that out then. So I love getting good recommendations and stuff.
yeah, no, Holy Mountain's where it's at.
Have you seen them yet on Amazon?
The Bug movie?
No, no, the TV series that Amazon just did called Them just came out like maybe
No.
last month. I
Uh-uh.
highly, highly recommend that one.
Damn. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's got some scenes. It's not gonna be a happy-go-lucky movie whatsoever. Like this, yeah. What there's like a yeah, it's one of the fucking. It's depressing and fucking shocking and yeah, but I highly recommend it. It's like probably my favorite thing to come out this year so far, TV wise. And it's got some scenes in there, like I think episode 5 especially. You won't forget that shit what you see in episode 5. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Be prepared.
All
There's
right.
this thing that I can tell you a little. It's not a spoiler, but there's something that one of the characters says. She says "cat in a bag," and yeah, you'll never forget that fucking shit.
All right.
Me and my wife watched it before we went to bed last week. And I was like, oh, we'll do one more episode before we go to sleep or whatever. And it was that episode. We were both sitting there like fucking traumatized. Like, I don't think we should have watched that one.
Yeah.
Should have watched The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
My girlfriend and I, we were watching Treehouse of Horrors the other day. Some
oh,
of
I
the.
love those.
Yeah, me too.
That's really
I
the only
was
reason
really
we got Disney
surprised she put it
Plus.
on. What?
I said that's really the only reason we got Disney Plus is for the fucking Simpsons.
I know. And then they edited some of them. I can't believe that.
Yeah, they did that, and some of the aspect ratios are all messed up on some of them.
I know they really. Yep, I saw that.
Yeah.
But what else are you gonna do? You gonna buy all those DVDs?
No, it's hard to find them too. Like I got a few seasons, but to get all of them, holy shit, that's a lot of DVDs.
I know it makes it convenient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a fan of the streaming stuff. I'm also a fan of physical media. I like to try to support both.
Yeah.
But man, the streaming stuff is so fucking convenient. And now that we have these like kind of smaller streaming sites like Shudder, and now Arrow has one, Arrow Player, which I'm about to get on that. I haven't did that yet, but I love like the small like kind of niche streaming companies out there that really kind of cater to us real horror fans and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like Shudder's been the best shit ever. Like I can't praise them enough. I've been with Shudder since they first came out, and I love Shudder.
Yeah, they got some great stuff on there.
Hmm. Joe Bob alone's enough to make you want to get Shudder.
Yeah.
Do you follow Joe Bob in the last drive-in or?
I do. Yeah, we did a convention together a few years ago. It was cool. We were signing in the same row. I was like,
Nice.
oh, cool.
Did y'all
Yeah.
talk and stuff or?
Yeah, we talked briefly. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like a hey, howdy kind of thing. So
Hmm. He's an encyclopedia of film.
he does. He knows his stuff. That guy. It's cool.
I remember him back in the I think 90s when he was on TNT, I believe, from Monster Vision.
Yeah,
I
I
remember
remember
that.
that too. Yeah.
And seeing him come back when Shutter brought him back, I was like, the nostalgia feeling was like overwhelming. Like, oh man, this brings back memories, man. And he's back, and he's pretty much the same as he was back then, just older.
I know it's great for so many people that had a show 30 years ago because nostalgia is kind of king right now.
Hmm. I was having thoughts of this place I used to buy, or rent videos from when I was a kid. Like you had your Blockbuster, you had your like Pickle Flick videos, Hollywood videos, stuff like that. But I used to rent my videos from a drugstore.
Oh yeah.
It was like a hidden place. I got video games from there that nobody else was getting because they didn't know about it. It was called Farmore, and they
Oh
had a whole like chain of them. I don't know if you remember those from back in the day. It was like 90s.
uh-huh.
And they had a video section there, man. And like nobody would rent there because nobody knew they had a fucking video section. So they'd be stocked with all like the new Sega games, new Super Nintendo games, some of the like new DVDs that just came out, and it was like my little like hidden spot. And
Oh
I still
yeah.
think about that. Like I get good feelings thinking about, oh man, that place. Nobody knew about it. Like nostalgia from that.
Yeah.
Video stores are kind of rare nowadays.
It's true. And they
Yeah.
keep going under all the time.
Yep. We only got one Blockbuster left, and I think that's in Oregon, I believe.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I had a lot of good friends that worked at Blockbuster, our local one we had here. I know they kind of ate up the mom and pop shops and all that stuff, but I still, they had some decent people that worked there and knew their movies.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was a video store on Long Island that I used to go to before I moved out to LA. It was called 112 Video, and they had an incredible horror section. And sadly, they went under too. It just doesn't seem like a viable retail store. Like there's a nostalgia market, but it's not viable enough for constant in a mainstream.
Right. Have you visited Slashback Video in California? I don't know
I
where at in
have,
California.
yeah. I went the two times that they had it open, and it's really fun. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Because they have so many great titles and covers, and it was fun.
It's kind of like a pop-up video thing, right? They're not always open, correct?
Yeah, so they're kind of more like an art display. Like the movies weren't even to rent. Some of the art things you could buy. They
Oh,
had select artists make VHS covers, and then you could buy like T-shirts. But the movies themselves were kind of display only.
okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was totally to capitalize on the nostalgic kind of feel of uh, horror VHS, and it was great for what it was. But
Hmm.
it was definitely sad that it was like, oh, you can't rent and or buy this
Yeah.
VHS.
So I totally thought you could. I didn't know it was like this kind of an art exhibit. That's kind
Yeah,
of,
it was, yeah. That slashback though, that store where they had it's called like Mystic something, the actual store that hosts that kind of stuff.
hmm.
They've had some really cool things in the past. They had like an Evil Dead one with like actual Army of Darkness props, and you know, I've been to a few there.
Hmm. That's cool. And I think Dark Delicacies is out there. Is that what it's called? Dark Delicacies? It's like a
Yeah,
bookstore. Like I think they do video stuff over there. Have you heard of that?
yeah. I have, and I have been there. Yeah,
How was that?
it's great. They moved right before kind of COVID happened,
Hmm.
and the last time that I was there, they had just moved to their new spot, and I was leaving, waiting for my Uber, and an old man and his wife got into a car right
Uh-huh.
outside of Dark Delicacies, and the old man drove up on the curb and destroyed his car on this telephone pole,
Oh shit.
like 12 feet away from me. So I
Wow.
like felt the energy like leaving the car. It was crazy. Like if
Wow.
and I like just moved in time. Like I don't know what happened. Like
Uh-huh.
he was just an old man, and he managed to leave the parking spot where he was on the street and total this car. It was crazy. And that was the last time I went to Dark Delicacies.
Yeah, it sounds like that place is a bit cursed then.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cursed, but the guy that runs it, Dell and his wife, they're great. You know what I mean? We had talked about doing a few signings before COVID happened, but I don't know, it just never happened. So maybe when the world opens, we'll do some kind of signing there.
That'd be awesome. I just got a Mick Garris's new novel he's got out. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I got a signed copy from Dark Delicacies. I'm like, hell yeah, man, because I love Mick Garris. Everything he does is like gold to me.
Let me ask you, where did you hear about that signing? Do you get like a newsletter from Dark
I've
Delicacies?
No, I follow him on Facebook, and I think I also get a newsletter. Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah, they're pretty active on Facebook. Like,
I'm always interested where people hear about horror things, so I know where to, advertise and tell people, because I'll get orders from Australia, and I'm always like, how did you hear about my movie in Australia? I don't have a kangaroo with a sign that says go to acidbathproductions.com. So I
hmm.
just think it's interesting, like where horror fans kind of get their news, because there's like a lot of different outlets nowadays.
There's a lot of outlets. I try to stick with Rue Morgue and Fangoria.
Uh-huh.
And I think Dread Central. Those are like my top three that I try to get my info from, like what's coming out or whatever. So I try to stick with those three through their
What,
social media sites and through the
what was the
magazine.
third one?
Third one is what did I say? Did I say bloody? No, not bloody disgusting. What the hell did I just say there? I said Rue Morgue. I got Fangoria, and let me get back to you on that one. I thought I said bloody disgusting, but I'm not sure if I did. There's another one too that's similar to that. So
We'll have to check the archives.
yeah, let you know. My brain has had a mishap there, a misfire, which happens sometimes.
That's all right. I've been there.
Yeah. last question I want to ask you is what or like you don't have to give me like a list or anything because it's too hard to do that shit. But what are just some of your favorite all time movies of all like horror movies of all time?
You know what? It's interesting. The movies that I really liked as a kid are kind
Hmm.
of becoming cult mainstream now. Like Return of the Living Dead was one of my favorite movies, and I can't believe how many people love that movie now. There's like
Right.
so many T-shirts and you know what I mean, things about it. And I love that movie, and it was really obscure. You know what I mean? Growing
Hmm.
up and talking about the movie, and now I feel like people are like, "Oh yeah, I know that movie."
Yeah,
But
that's a good one.
yeah, uh, and it was cool to have Linnea Quigley be in one of my films. You know,
Oh yeah, no shit. That's awesome.
so um, I also love the Blob remake, the '80s Blob,
Oh yeah, that's cool. I like that one too. Yeah.
and you know, I like the Suckling. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I've seen The Suckling. I seen that on Shutter actually, I believe, when it was on
Oh,
there.
I
Yeah.
like, you know, I like I like stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I that question's always hard for me because I'm always watching new movies.
Right.
I kind of like to watch a movie once. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because it doesn't ruin the magic for you. Because sometimes if you revisit a film, it's like, oh, I don't like it as much as I did when it first made that impact on me.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
I'm the same way, except for Mandy and
Yeah.
Beetlejuice and Little Monsters. So those three right there, I can watch
Oh
over and
yeah,
over.
Little Monsters. I love that movie as a kid.
Oh
It
God,
still
man, it still holds up so well too.
does. That Howie Mandel.
Dude, man, I wish I wanted to be a little monster so bad. I would like look under my bed when I was a kid all the way to my teenage years. Still never, you know. Technically, it might have happened. I mean, I'm kind of monstrous now, so it's
That's
cool.
true. Yeah. Who didn't want Maurice as a friend?
It's been so awesome, dude. Like, yeah, that I don't think that movie gets enough love, you know.
It doesn't. I mean, it's starting to. You know what I mean? I've seen a few companies make T-shirts for it now, but you know, the his hand turns into that dog. There's so many great moments in it.
I like when he's getting the piss for Ronnie. He's in the refrigerator. Ooh,
Yep.
what's this? Oh, Ronnie sandwich.
That's the next one I was going to bring up.
I
Yeah,
love that part, man.
that's not apple juice.
Yeah. Who pissed in my apple juice?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we need
That's
to get more people watching that.
totally.
There's another Little Monsters out on Hulu, I believe, and it's a cool movie, but I think it's a zombie film, and I'm good on zombies, really. Like I've seen so many damn zombie movies like recently. I'm just like, you know,
Nice.
and it's got the same name, so you know, it's gonna be hard for people to look back at the older Little Monsters, two totally different films, you know.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to make The Godfathers like the greatest film of all time. The Godfather?
Uh-huh.
No, James Balsamo's The Godfathers. Crazy story about wacky godfathers.
You imagine all the attention you would get for that, like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
man, we're gonna watch The Godfather and be one of your films.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good promotion, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's genius.
Thanks. I have my moments.
You do awesome, James.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. You too, man. Keep crushing that music.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the band is no more. We disbanded a couple of years ago now, just because you know we've been doing it for like 17 or so years, and it just kind of came to an end. Nothing bad or anything like that, but
Well, you could always make more music. Pick up a pair of spoons.
well, I'm
Start
doing
slapping together.
some synth stuff now. I got the intro to this podcast I wrote, and it's all synthesizer shit. I'm kind of getting into that now, and it's really fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What are you playing on a Korg?
No, I'm using just a little MIDI keyboard.
Uh-huh.
You know, nothing fancy, just a cheap MIDI keyboard. And I think I was running through GarageBand, and they got
Oh,
a ton of like add-on stuff you can throw on there and shit. So I've been using that and coming up with my own like drum beats for it and stuff, and just laying some synth shit over the top of it. And
cool.
it's just fun and relaxing.
Awesome.
And I still play guitar and all that stuff as well too. I'm thinking about maybe recording some like atmospheric droney type shit.
Yeah, do it, man.
But I'm trying to keep focus on doing the podcast and running the website and everything because I've only been running the website, the hard website for like maybe 2 years now. I think I had my 2 year anniversary and the podcast thing. This is my eighth episode, really my ninth, but I took one down. I had to take it down. So
Cool.
So this is like my ninth, and I just want to keep doing this for now and see where I can go with it.
Yeah. You could do it all, brother. You could do it all.
Yep, hopefully I'm trying. So,
I just
but
started a new band
oh
with
yeah,
with the members of Master.
no shit.
Yeah, it's called Wizards of Pleasure.
Okay.
And we have songs like Pork the Orcs and Tender Nipples of the Dragon. I'm glad you're laughing. That's what it is. It's a comedy metal band, and we
Yeah,
all dress like wizards.
really.
Oh, yeah. So
What do you play?
I sing.
Oh, you sing? No shit. I
I
didn't know
do.
that either.
Oh, yeah. I have a music DVD called James Balsamo Knows How to Rock, and it's out through Walmart, Best Buy, Barnes and Noble, and it's
Hmm.
got music videos from bands that I've been in over the years.
Wow, that's badass. You're a true Renaissance man.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I play a few different instruments, but in this band, I'm just singing. So,
That's way badass. Yeah, never knew that. So if you're listening, you need to definitely check in on that. Everything James does, everything Acid Bath Productions, you got to look into it 'cause it's fucking awesome.
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
My pleasure, dude. I've been supporting you for a while now, like helping you promote and all that stuff. I think we've known each other online for years and years now.
Yeah, it's true.
Time flies.
It does. That it does.
Hmm. Well, it was great talking with you, James. I
Always a
appreciate you
pleasure,
being
man.
on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks. It was fun.
It was nice actually talking to you instead of just
Yeah,
typing at you.
definitely.
Oh
Well, if
yeah.
you have any of that new synth music, send it my way. Maybe I'll throw it in a movie.
Well, I'm working on a song right now that I'm basing around the movie Cobra.
Oh, cool, fun.
Yeah, I got some artwork made up for it. Well, it's not really artwork in that sort. It's like photo edit art. You know what I mean?
It's your face on Stallone.
No, I didn't do that. But it says Axe Murderer dude. I can't think of his name right now. I'm
Uh-huh.
using him as my image.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, are you a Cobra fan?
I am. I love that movie. Although I think it's really funny that they send all of their bad guy henchmen after one witness to die.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
they send everybody they've got after Bridget.
It was it Bridget
Brigitte.
Nielsen, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brigitte Nielsen. Yeah, all of them. And then Stallone kills all of them. It's great. I mean, it's fun, but like the reality of like one witness, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh. And a fun fact about that film there, that is Panos Cosmatos' dad from who did Mandy. That's his dad
Uh-huh.
that did Cobra.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm. And they kind of have similar looks to it with like their deep reds and all that stuff and a kind of dreamy look, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely see a thing there. But yeah, I would definitely send that your way when I'm done. That'd be awesome to have a synth song in one of your movies. You know, I've already done like guitar stuff. Like to have something, a new medium in there would be awesome.
Yeah, send it my way.
Excellent. Well, you have yourself a good week and good weeks to come and stuff. And yeah, I see you out there on the internet webs.
Yeah, you too, brother. Appreciate it.
Yep. You take care.
Thanks, brother. You too.
Bye.
Bye.